What up, Walt? What up, Walt? All right, y'all. Let me know if you can hear me and all that good stuff. I had sent out an email maybe 5-10 minutes before I started, and I was just saying, and like I was saying last week too, I won't be doing any drawing tonight. I think I'm going to do this model I got here, and really just talk about the art business, and breaking into it. How to get started, what are some pitfalls and stuff like that. And by all means, if anyone has questions, feel free to shout them out in the comments. If you're an artist, a working artist, and you got some insights on stuff, by all means, let some other people know too. Because there's always, it's like Photoshop, right? I always look at stuff like Photoshop when it comes to doing things in general, because there's always more than one way to skin a cat. And my way may not be the best way for someone, or somebody just may have a better way of doing it, a quicker way, an easier way, way that seems relevant to someone else besides the way I may do it. But because I'd like to talk more about this one guy. He posted on one of my, made a comment a couple weeks ago on one of my drawings on Instagram, and it's still, I don't want to say it's bothering me, but it's just, I feel like this can be achieved. You can be a working artist and get paid good money for it. That whole starving artist thing. Ugh. Sound is good, bro. That's what's up. Hey, Michelle, what's up? So, I got this tractor here that I want to build. And once it's built, I'll paint it and everything. But I definitely want to really rust up the wheels and, add some hard rust on the top. Like, it's been sitting in this field for years with a ton of neglect. So that's the goal with that. I'll do like a diorama type thing, so I'll have some real grass and all that stuff on there. But yeah, back to art business. And like I said, the reason I was mentioning this is because there was a guy, and his comment was mainly that he envied me because I was doing art and he wasn't. You just kind of take that comment as, yeah, I appreciate it, and keep moving. Hopefully things will work out for you or whatever. But it just made me think more about, this is achievable. It's something that's very doable. The thing is that you're gonna have to take some time and figure out exactly what it is you want to do. I think that's probably one of the main keys. For anything, figuring out exactly what it is you want to do, and then maybe not sticking to that fully planned thing, but have a plan. And so I got some stuff scattered out here. I'm gonna be jumping back and forth. This is just a Revel model kit. I'm sure we've all, if not put one together, seen someone else put one together. So it's just, I always change up whether I'm doing something with the layout or drawing or this type of stuff. I think it's good just for creatives to do different things, right? So you're just not always doing the same thing over and over and over. You kind of get burnt out on certain things. Maybe not quick, maybe quick, either or, but I think to help prevent the burnout is to just do something different artistically. I don't know, and I've talked to several artists, and that's what most of them do. I'm not sure about business people, how they do things to where they could, and I'm just thinking because Michelle said, hey, I'm thinking about her. So, and I think she's creative too, but as far as office stuff, do you do something similar office, but not exactly what that is, to kind of break up the monotony of the same thing over and over, or what? But I know for me and most creative people, as far as art, you're doing something and then you just do something artistically different. That will help prevent the burnout. Okay, so back to this art business thing. And again, forgive me for just rambling, but I'm rambling. Once you've figured out what it is you want to do, you have options. You can either go to school, you can do YouTube University, you can find a mentor. There's all types of things that you can do to further in what your passion is and you want to make money. And again, I'm just speaking as an artist. I'm just speaking from my experience. Like I said, if you got any other suggestions or can help someone else, by all means, shout it out. But yeah, you have those, and then you work those angles. Whether it is you do really good in school, like I said, if you do YouTube, you have to practice, right? I think for me, the best thing is having a mentor. So with school, one, you can have mentors in school too, but if you just don't have the money and all that stuff, school is really expensive. So if you can find a mentor outside of school, then that's probably just as good, some companies do still want to see a degree and all that stuff, and that's fine too. I'm not knocking that because I went to school, but that may not be in the cards for right now. But finding a good mentor, whether you're in school or not, I think is probably one of the best pieces of advice that I can give. I think that's probably top 3 that I always mention to people is finding a mentor. And so, we'll get into the whole business part of it, but I think the stuff that I'm preluding to, or till we get to the business part of the conversation, is finding a mentor and picking their brain for the most part, right? There's a lot of stuff going on with this thing here. So once you found that mentor, or you're doing just some YouTube stuff, and again, my bad, we're talking about getting into, the art field of your choice, whether it's animation, comics, graphic design, anything, right? And you find a mentor that's doing the thing that you obviously want to do. Because one, they're doing it, and get a mentor that you respect and don't mind an ass chewing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just part of the territory. Cool. So, yeah, if you look at Michelle's comment, her job allows her to be very creative. I guess whenever she does a new training, I think that's what you do, Michelle, to get the companies on the same track. I know you mentioned it. I'm just trying to make sure I don't screw it up. All right, so we got find a mentor. I don't even think I might need to put any glue on this one. I think I'll glue it up just to be on the safe side. But so what we find a mentor is, like I said, my number one thing. School can be something if that's what you want to pursue, and for the most part, I get asked a lot of stuff like that from people who aren't in school, right? Some people that are in school are still trying to figure some stuff out, but it's mainly people that aren't in school and they're kind of, working a 9 to 5, whether it's a professional career or at the grocery store or something like that. They just want to find, and do that passion that they want to do. And so that's probably where I'll lean more towards versus, degree, find a job, get years of experience here, then you can move to the next level and so on and so forth. I mean, that's pretty typical with most careers, whether it's art or non-art. You get the degree from college, you find some entry-level position of what you studied for, and you just work your way up the chain. I mean, that's, for the most part, the track. Even in that, though, you still find mentors and people that can help you along the way and stuff like that. But I'll probably lean more towards the people that are in jobs, I'm not going to say that they don't want to do, but they just want to do something different. They want to do their creative passion. And before COVID, me and one of my mentors, we would go around and do a lot of these classes, and just talk to, whether it's old folks, young folks, anybody that wanted to hear about the art careers and art, how to make that happen. We talked to them. I didn't care who it was. We were like evangelists. But yes, so that's who I'm probably mainly be talking to. So okay, you found a mentor. Um, and you found, kind of what you really want to do, and how do you transfer from the job to making a career and making a living out of this? And it can be difficult, right? Like, I've said it several times before that there may be just nights, weeks without sleep or very little sleep, and you don't have to be the best at that thing, right? If you really just want to get into a company or something, and I literally just talked to a comic book artist, a friend of mine. He's been working on Lady Death since it started. He's the colorist for it, and the main thing with that is consistency, right? You don't have to be, I don't know, a Todd McFarlane or, all the big names, and you don't have to be the best. People just want you to be consistent at what you do, whether it's being on time. Making deadlines is probably the most important thing. And so even when you find a mentor, if that mentor isn't challenging you to be somewhere on time, and they don't chew you out if you're not, it just may take you longer to reach a goal that you want to. Now, it may be cool for you and that mentor to be late and, do stuff, and I'll just call it as it is. To me, that's just being lazy and half-assing it. Then cool. But when you start really wanting to get into those corporate, quote-unquote, Marvel, DC, Disney, Pixar, Lucasfilms, all that, you got to be on time with your projects, period. They're not going to put up with that. I was in the military, and it was, if you're 15 minutes to somewhere you're supposed to be, then you're on time. If you show up on time, you're late. And if you are late, like 5-10 minutes late, you just don't show up. You're getting in trouble. So I think if anything, that probably stuck with me in the military, and I use that for everything else that I do. When I got a tattoo appointment, I'm always there maybe 30 to 40 minutes prior to my tattoo, if not sometimes an hour early, where I'm just kind of sitting there and then getting the juices going. Huge thing. If you want to do art business, make sure you keep your deadlines. I can't stress that enough. Actually, I'm gonna get a pen, because this might be some good stuff I could put down in a book or something. What Michelle say? I work with teams, so every group. Yes. Yeah. She that's what she does. She works with teams. All right, so I'm just writing some notes down here. We have mentor, find. So the first thing is find what you want to do. Then we talked about mentors. 3, being on time. More importantly, meet your deadlines. I remember in school, we would have people from different companies come to the school. We had the people that make Smite. I can't remember the name of the studio. High Res Studio came. Pixar would come. The bigger companies, they would come like just once a year, but people like Smite or High Res, and there was a couple other Bento Box. Some of those people would come regularly, like 2 or 3 times a year. But the main thing they always said is that be on time with your projects and be a good team player. Like, you got along well with others. That's probably their biggest thing they would always tell us, and it's still true to this day. So you want to be a good team player and have them projects meet or exceed the deadline. I would say exceed it. I know life happens and all that stuff, so but let's back up a little bit. I think maybe in between find what you want and mentor, right? And like I said, I'm mainly gearing this towards people that already have a job and they want to transition. I know it's hard. Believe me, I've done the work and I know what it takes to get to a certain place of where you're happy and you want to create. You got a family, you have to work and feed them. You may be behind on bills or whatever the case is. I get it. It's hard, man. If that was the case, everyone would do it. If it was easy just to be like, all right, I'm gonna quit this job and then move into another job of what I want to do, because now 7-8 times out of 10 you're gonna have to start at the bottom and you're not gonna make as much money as you might be making at this job or whatever the case is. So now you have to, and that's the whole thing, planning. You have to either, you're working here at 100%, you ain't doing art yet, right? So now you cut this down to 80% and you do the art for 20%. Cut this down to 50 and now you're 50-50 in it. You still got to juggle your family if you got kids, pets, anything, besides these 2 big things. Are you married? It's probably a lot easier for a single person to do this versus, someone with a family and heavy responsibilities. It still can be done because I've done it. Again, some of that stuff, there was no sleep, running on literally fumes, coffee, and when I feel myself going to sleep, I have to stand up and be like, hey, I really want this section, then I want this section. So that's where a lot of people, and I don't want to say get lost, but that's just where it crumbles. That's where it's like, I think I'm gonna just stay here, right? Because I'm already here. It's not easy, but this is a routine that I've set up. You come home, you still have time with the family, and then you get to go to sleep or whatever. And that's kind of where that breaks down, as far as that person doesn't transition to this, which is the art part or the creative job. And you just have to decide, again, you go to work here, spend time with the family, do whatever you got to do, and then you may have, come 10 o'clock, kids are down or whatever. You may have 2 hours here or 3 hours that you can work on this part, and that's just what you got to do. There is no how to jump from here to there. You have to take some no days off type thing. And, I think that's where a lot of that comes from. Now there's this thing where it's like, I've seen a bunch of memes and a bunch of people saying stuff like, oh, you have to take time for yourself and your mental. And I am not condoning, yes, you do. But if you're here and you want to get here, this just going to be sometimes there's no sleep. I don't know what else to tell who keeps making those memes of, it comes across as don't not sleep ever. Like, heck, I'm doing stuff sometimes just for me and I don't sleep because I want this to look really nice. I want this to be the best. So I don't sleep sometimes, and that's how it has to be. If anyone out there has anything to counter that, please say it in the comments, because I'd like to know, and maybe I don't, maybe I will be able to sleep at points, But yes, your mental is very important. And your health is because if you don't have that, then you can't do anything, right? So I get it. But trust me, it's going to be times where you don't sleep. That's all. Come prepared. If I have something to teach or facilitate, I need to know my role and material so the session has the best odds of success. That's it. Come prepared. You heard her. And she's a genius, so I take every word she says as biblical truth. But yes, come prepared if not, you already lost. Because someone else is going to come prepared, right? There's too many people that want to do this also, or do whatever that thing is you want to do. And if you're not prepared, if you're not on time, if you're not making these strategic moves, someone else is going to do it. So be better, or at least be on their level. So what do we have? We had find what you want to do, figure out that gap and how to go from 100 to this 100, 80, 20, 50, 50, 20, 80, and then quit this. But you still got family in the middle that you got to deal with. So that's what you got to figure out. Find you a really good mentor. And then we said third, be on time, meet your deadlines. All right, cool. So let's say, and I'll just use me, right, as I wanted to be a tattoo artist. So one, I could draw already. So that was something that, I was here. I knew I could draw, and I wanted to be here. I wasn't sure it was going to be a tattoo artist. I just knew I wanted to be a creative, successful, creative individual where I can do art and make a living off of it. And it's not always about making money, it's making a living. What makes you happy, I think, is another key point. Because my success doesn't look like your success. My success doesn't look like Michelle's success or Walt's success. My success could be, traveling, and as long as I got a roof, a tent over my head, and my stomach isn't growling, that could be all the success I need. Or it could be I want a $400,000 house, two very nice cars, or whatever. So you also have to determine what your success is. If you're happy with the 50-50, so you work 50% at this job and that's successful to you, then I think you're winning. You won. If you want to leave here and make this the main thing, then that's a goal, and that's your part of your success. And that was for me. I wanted to be away from the corporate scene, because I worked at Georgia Tech and Georgia State for a while, and even corporate in working with different companies in the art field. Like, I wanted to be my own contractor, and I didn't know that until I got in here and started moving stuff around. But your level of success is different than someone else's level of success. Always remember that. So let's say you want to be a comic book artist, right? I've mentioned this in several other videos a while back, but when I first moved to Atlanta, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a comic book artist. I wanted to work for Marvel. I wanted to see my name in lights. And then I just wanted to do comic book covers. Like, I didn't want to do any of the inside work. I didn't want to do none of that stuff. Yeah, that went out the window real quick because for a couple of reasons. I don't know how this is supposed to go in here. So I wanted to be a comic book artist. I knew I needed to find a mentor or somebody that was in the field that I wanted to do. And I found somebody, Brian Stelfreeze, out of all people. This dude is ridiculously dope. And he mentored me for a few months. I found what studio he was in. This is not going in like I wanted to. I found out the studio he was in, and I harassed that dude a lot. I'm sure he was sick of me, but I didn't let that deter me. And so I was at a job and I knew I wanted to be here. I would go to that studio for 3 months straight and get there before they even open their doors. I'd be sitting out there sometimes waiting for them to get there. And that's just what you got to do, right? So I did that. Once I realized, and that's the whole thing of figuring out what you want to do. Once I realized I wasn't just going to go into comics as a cover artist, because there was a ton of other cover artists that were already dope, that were already doing it, I changed gears. I was like, I don't want to do that. So now I'm still working corporate and still just trying to figure out what I need to do to get here. Fast forward, I went to SCAD for animation. I found some mentors at school. Some of my professors are my mentors. I still talk to them to this day. and they just helped me along the way to get to where I wanted to be here. So I finally graduated, was working on some films, and realized that's not what I want to do. So now I need to stay here and then figure out another path to go in this art field. Tattooing fell in my lap, and that's just where I've been ever since. And that's a condensed story, but that's for the most part what happened for me. But it took me a minute to go from here to here, because even when I was tattooing, I was still in corporate. I was still at the state, and I'd work 100% here, no percent here. Then I moved from 80 to 20, 50, 50 until I finally just started doing tattooing full time. So I figured out, what I needed to do. I made sure I was at the tattoo studio before the doors opened. Before, even if I didn't have a key, before I got my own key, I was at the door waiting for someone to come open that door. When I was with my mentor who taught me how to tattoo, I was at his studio before he opened the door. These are people actually that you can fact check me if you want. And ask, hey, Wayman told me he knows you and you're his mentor. Was he there on time? I'd be there before they got there. Dan Flores, DTM, is one of my mentors, Delta Tango Mike on Instagram. And me and him are really close friends too, but I'd call him and give him a hard time if he wasn't there when we were supposed to be somewhere. Brian Stelfreeze, hit him up. He may not answer because he's kind of big now, a lot bigger actually, but he'll tell you the same thing. And you just have to change your mind of what you want. I think that's the main thing, and willing to put in the work. And hopefully when you find these mentors and you want to break into these, you want to be a comic book artist, you find other comic book artists, you go to conventions, you go to comic book stores, you make it very apparent that you are going to be a tick on someone's ass, period. That's probably the best analogy that I can give someone. Even if they have not agreed to take you on as an apprentice or them being your mentor, you make them your mentor. With this style of moving from corporate to is sometimes difficult for people too, right? So, you do the college thing, you go to a job interview, and you don't really have to have a mentor per se, or you don't really have to be in people's faces. This requires you to also come out of your comfort zone, right? Because at this point, you don't have college degree behind your back. You don't have, job references where you can be like, hey, I did this. And you don't really have to talk to people. This requires a lot of talking to somebody, a lot of hustling, because the hustle is real. And not that you don't have to hustle in other jobs. I don't want to take that away from somebody, but this is a different approach on that hustle. This is almost like Dave the Dope Man versus, a grind person from, because you kind of get stuck in those things too, right? Where you're hustling, but it's just, hey, I'm going here, I'm doing extra at this job, and you're hustling, you're grinding. Here is more like, you know, you got to be out there in them streets real late. You know, you got to be up at the crack of dawn. You know, if someone, I'm gonna date myself. If someone hits your pager, you got to go out there and make that sale, man. So this way is also a little different than the traditional way, if you will. One thing you talk about, which I think is super important, is not to give away. Yes, and you are right. Because, you know, those things, like, you know, you start doing certain things as if everything is a hustle, then nothing, there's no joy, there's no somewhere where you can just go and be you. And yeah, my trains, that's what it is for me. That's me. Like this stuff here. And although I may give it away to somebody, I may sell something, it's still just me. You get it when you get it. If you don't, I'm not putting it out there for sale anyway. So yeah, this is me. This is where my joy is. So I don't even know what number I'm looking for. I think 6. But yes, that's I think that's what I got in a nutshell, y'all. Like I said, I took some notes and I may try and refine that. And you know, when I do these, I'll talk about it more here and there too. But, damn it, is that a 6? Oh, there it is. I'll talk more about it and go into depth and more stuff with each passing live that I do. But again, just know it's a hustle. There's no easy way to do this. There's no quick get rich quick scheme. You have to decide what it is you want to do. It's on you at this point. Trying to stick this thing in here. Anyway, I'll figure this out, I guess, at some point. Like I said in the email, I knew we weren't going to be here too long this evening, so mainly me just ranting about, or not even ranting, you know, just sharing experiences with y'all, and I broke it. Of course I did. So, anywho, I do hope this has helped someone out there. And if someone, you know, will probably listen to the video later or whatever. I do hope it has helped someone and that someone has gotten something out of it. I think I'm gonna just glue it on there like that anyway. I think it'll be just fine. So yeah, heck, I only think it's me and you, Shell. If that's still you, that's the only one out there. So But yeah, I will see y'all next week. Like I said, I'll probably just draw something really cool because it's Thanksgiving week next week. Um, I don't know what I'm gonna draw, but it'll be something dope. And then I will pick back up with the series as far as the head series, and we'll talk more about other parts of the anatomy that we want to do until we get a full body, and that will be. So we did hands and feet, torso. We'll do the head, and then we'll do like legs and arms and stuff, and we'll put it all together. Like I said, until we get a full body. So I will see you all next week. And I will talk to you all later. Talk to you later, Shell. We need to figure out the next schedule for your tattoo so we could get some more work done on that. But I will text you about all that stuff. So I appreciate y'all as always. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.